home inspector. A home inspector is a limited, non-invasive examination of the condition of the home, often in connection with the sale of that home. Yes, when you're buying a home, you have it inspected, right? So thanks, Wikipedia. But home inspectors are usually conducted by a home inspector who is trained and certified to perform such inspection. The inspector prepares and delivers to the client a written report. So let's back up a little bit. The home inspector is actually purchased or paid for on behalf of the buyer. The buyer pays a home inspector. Depending on where you live within the United States, a home inspection can be anywhere from $350 to $500. So once you're home, you come to a handshake agreement between the buyer and seller. The next process is bringing in a home inspector to inspect the home. Now, this is very important with home inspections. This is where many deals fall apart. So I want you to really pay attention to this part of the process of what I'm saying. But the goal of a home inspection is this. Every house, even if it's brand new, has issues. Okay, let me repeat that. Every home, regardless of the age, has issues, even a new construction. All right, you have to let your buyer understand that. And we've done YouTube videos, tutorials on what are things that you need to look at during when you're looking at a home. Okay, and things to look for. So when you go and do your official home inspection, your clients, your buyers, aren't caught off guard during this process. Okay, a home inspection is purchased to make sure there is no major issues or conditions with the house that is not visible. If you go look at a house and you notice that a furnace is 25 years old, you should know as an agent that a furnace usually lasts 20 to 25 years. It's probably going to need repaired. It's not fair for when you hire an inspector, they're going to come out and tell you a laundry list of things. We're going to look at reports here in a second. They're going to tell you a laundry list of stuff wrong with the house. That's their job. That's why you're paying them hundreds of dollars to come up with these reports. Remember, if they came to you and say, hey, walk through the house looks great, see you later, and you don't give them some report of all these negative things, you're going to think you got ripped off, right? I mean, their job is to find bad stuff with the house. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it, but their job is to find everything from a crack to paint chips to the wobbly handle on a toilet. I mean, everything. But the purpose of a home inspection is to find major items, structural or something, that electrical, that doing a normal walkthrough on a home, you're not going to see. Okay, and if that issue arises after the home inspection, then the buyer can decide if they still want to pursue purchasing the house or not. Okay, now, one other tidbit of advice. Home inspectors are not licensed in their field, as in they are not licensed electricians. They're not licensed HVAC. Think of it as they are the jack of all trades, master of none. So if they say, hey, listen, have the electrical box isn't grounded right, they will refer you to an electrician. So I've had it in many situations where the home inspector says there's something wrong with something. We bring out a licensed HVAC, that's furnace and air conditioning, or electrician, and they look at something and they say, no, it's fine. That's per code. Okay. Now, just because the home inspector cited it does not mean it's wrong. You always go what the licensed technician, either electrical, general contractor, whatever they say is wrong. What they say is wrong is correct because they have to follow building code in their area. Okay. So before you look, especially historic areas, parts of the United States, you're going to have people, when they do a home inspection, literally have a stroke, okay? Because there are going to be so many things wrong with a house that's 100 years old, they're never going to want to buy it, such as mold, asbestos, you name it, some structural things that need to be done. If you have a client that wants a house that's perfect, they need to buy a brand new home. Okay, every house has issues. I cannot stress that enough. Your buyers need to understand that. Okay, and before they put an offer in on a house, they have to be comfortable knowing that what they see, they can tell things need done. They can tell a roof needs to be repaired and things like that. So they need to know that those things are going to be coming up soon. So whatever offer they place initially, they need to be factoring that in the cost of their offer when they purchase the home. You can't offer a client, you can't offer a seller full price for a house, knowing that they have to do repairs, have the inspector come out and tell you the same things that you could have seen from the street, and then start discounting the sale price of the house after the fact. It never works. That is a recipe for disaster. You're going to insult your sellers because the seller is going to say, well, clearly you could tell that the air conditioner was 20 years old. It needs to be replaced. Why are you telling me now after we went to contract? Okay, because remember, after an inspection's done, a buyer has a right to walk away, but so does the seller. All right, so we're going to go over inspection reports now, just a little bit about what they look like so you're comfortable with them. So again, these are inspection reports that are given to the buyers. When an inspection is done, that is usually the first thing that happens once a house goes into contract, depending on what part of the United States that you live in. Usually it can happen within the first week and a half. Once you come into a handshake, contractual executed agreement to purchase a home. And what will happen is an inspector will come out to the home and look high and low. And we're going to look at what an inspection entails. Now, can the seller, normal questions is this, it's very important that you as the agent, as well as the buyer, attend these inspections. A lot of inspections take 2 to 3 hours, depending on the size of the house. You need to be there. Not for the whole thing, but you need to be there. That way, if there's an issue that arises, that you both are standing there talking with the inspector, looking at what you're looking at. They can show you, you can feel it, smell it, touch it, and so you know what issues or lack of. Because what happens every time that doesn't happen, you get an inspection report like this. Like this one, for example, is 23 pages long. When you hand your buyer an inspection report that's 23 pages long, they have a coronary. Every time. Even though it's a beautiful house like this one on the screen. That's a beautiful home. But there's 23 different problems, at least, on these inspection reports. And so when a buyer receives those, all they think of, oh my gosh, the house there's mold or something's crazy. I can't buy this house. So you want to be there. You want to be there with your buyer for support. And that way, if there is a major issue, you can go back to the seller's agent and discuss what you found firsthand. You've seen it personally. You know what's going on, so you can explain it, and it helps the negotiation process. So the report will come to you about a day, maybe 2 days after the inspection's performed. And this is what it looks like. It'll have a picture of the house. It'll have the whole house broken down into different types or genres: exterior, foundational, roofing, plumbing, Okay, and it'll have everything broken down. Now, when you're there at the property, you don't need to wait for this inspection report. All right, you're there with the inspector going through everything. You don't need to wait for the inspector report to come out before you can start negotiating or walking away from the property or giving it a thumbs up saying, hey, this house is wonderful. It's as advertised. We want to buy the house or we're moving forward. Okay. So, but it's broken down into just different reports. I mean, they check everything from water heaters and take pictures to electrical, just to show you, just the things that they cover. It is very comprehensive. It is worth every penny. Buyers do not have to do this part of the process. I want to preface this. They do not have to have an inspection done. If your buyer does not want an inspection done, say they're very handy or whatever, you want to make sure that you get that in writing, that you have told them and encouraged them to get a home inspection. It's their right to have one. And if they are opting out of that, they should give that to you in writing. Okay? If that is an addendum or that is an email saying that, hey, my buyer, Tom and Nancy Smith, I advise you to get a home inspection performed. It is your right. You have the right to do it. You're electing to opt out of it. If you can reply saying that I, educated you and have urged you to get one, but you're opting out of that right. Because what'll happen, guys, someone opts out of it. They purchase the home 6 months later, happens sometimes. Something happens, something's wrong, and something's going to be expensive. They're going to come after everybody. Everybody. I've seen it happen. They'll come after the seller. They'll come after the agents, and it'll be a witch hunt. So if you have a buyer that does not want to pay a few $100s for an inspection, get it in writing. That you advised them to get it. It's against their better judgment, and they should get it. But it is an invaluable process, very important. I would rather see our agents not go to closing, attend a closing or to get their commission check, than for them not to attend an inspection. An inspection, every time you have a house inspected, that is a hurdle that needs to be crossed. And if you're not present along with your buyer, if it's a husband and wife, I want both of them to be there. If they can't both be there, one of them needs to be there, because I'm telling you, this is where majority of all of your deals fall apart during the inspection process.